do this thing called jazz hands, Trey. It's like this. You got to
Got it.
do the jazz hands. I know you're a Marine. Semper Fi. You got to do the jazz hands. There you go.
Jazz or
There
die.
you go. Yeah, there you go. Jazz hands. There you go. Walter's doing the jazz hands. I'm doing the jazz hands. We are live. We are live. This is episode 221 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I hope you got your big girl Marine size panties on tonight since we got Trey here. You know, and we are talking, of course, Trey's here from Full Conceal. There he goes.
Woo!
And if you don't know what Full Conceal is, that is the folding Glock. But I think you guys told me that you're going to be so much more than that in the future, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So we're going to answer all your folding Glock questions that you have today. This is a companion piece to a video that went up, I believe, yesterday or something. I don't know. I'm still, my head is still swinging from traveling and all that kind of stuff. I obviously haven't taken any time off before I came back on here, but I think that video went up either yesterday or the day before that. Maybe it went up the day before on Patreon. So we've got that video up. Obviously, Full Conceal has some new offerings that are coming out and some prototypes that Trey was showing us. He's going to be here. We're going to have this discussion. I posted something on Instagram. I think you guys reposted it as well. We're going to try to answer everyone's questions. All the folks out there in the chat who are watching this, if you have questions, try to get it to us now somehow, and I will try to answer as many as possible. If you have my number, you can text me your questions, whatever works for you guys. I'll try to keep my make sure that my phone is open here. The battery might die, but we'll we'll try to get to as much stuff as we possibly can here during the show about the folding Glock. Okay. And we also have Walter from Safety Harbor Firearms. There he goes. He's kind of going dark. He's hiding out. I don't know. It's like lots of clouds, I guess, in Safety Harbor. I have no idea what's going on. Someone turned off the lights.
Well, I turned some lights off in here so it wasn't so bright, and now it's I'm on the dark side.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So Trey, usually what I do is I go through here and I shout out the folks in the chat. I will do that. Richard Hughes looks like he's number one. Michael Bender is in here as well. Special K. Let's see who else we got in here. Boss Hog. Armament and Axis. Shout out to him. South KC. E-Rock. Henry 42. Rabbit 0317. Boss Josh Imposter. Ryan Morales. The Archangel, Vanessa Kitty, and let's see, Chris Bullis as well. I see Chris Bullis in the house. Let's see, who else we got in here? Robert McRae and Mr. Bullshitter. Strange Media moderator Gerald Loafers is also in here. Shout out to him. Opt Out of Gun Control is in here as well. I'm sure these guys all have comments. STL Storm Spotter as well is here. So let's see. Moobut. Shout out to Moobut. Bayou Metal as well. Greg 98K. Magnum Boys. Tango Hunter. Let's see who we got. We got the Tyven Show. Doctor. FF1. Tattoo Jason. Screaming Skull Saloon. It goes on and on and on. Shout out to everyone that's in here. Please, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs ups. Okay, we appreciate that. Make sure also that you share this. If you want to, Trey, one of the tricks of this is in the email that I sent you, there's another link that says share this with folks so they can watch live on YouTube.
Right.
If you're capable, you can open that up in another window and just mute the sound, but you'll be able to see the chat going by there on the side so you can see all the questions that I don't get of that people will be asking you, as well as you can click on the video, click thumbs up and everything. I see Tacos and French Fries is also in here. Shout out to him. Let me make sure I also do that. We all need to go and, of course, thumbs up our own channel. It's almost like I look at it as like putting thumbs up your own butt.
Oh, well, if you like that,
is that too much? Yeah, is that too much? I don't know. That might be.
I call it shameless self-promotion. That's what I call it.
Yeah, same thing.
That's a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Pretty much the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. So, yeah, I'm going to go there and thumbs up myself. There we go. All right. Very cool. So let me see. All right. So since I've seen you, Trey, anything been going on in your world, man?
No, just boring stuff. About like you, I'm unpacking from the trip to Iowa, washing clothes right now, cleaning guns, and doing this podcast to leave tomorrow to go to a buyer group show in Columbus, Ohio. So I'll be on the road. Then I come back Sunday night and get ready to go to another trip, off on another trip. And somewhere in all that, I'm still working.
Yeah. What part of the country are you in, if you don't mind telling us?
I live in a little town called Ruston, Louisiana, which is the home of Louisiana Tech University.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I believe Walter has some connections to the Louisianas.
Yeah, my wife's from Louisiana. Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
or little
New Orleans. New Orleans.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
there you go.
I was born in Shreveport, and then I lived in New Orleans until I enlisted way back in 1989, and then I left New Orleans.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Go ahead.
I know New Orleans well. I miss it. We go down there probably once or twice a year for a Saints game and some other stuff. So I'm down there kind of regularly.
Yeah. By the way, let me.
That better or that too much?
No, yeah, that's good. That's good. So the firearm rack, Patrick R is he's telling me off in the chat. I see someone deleted his post, but he's telling me off because I hung up on him. So my apologies for hanging up on you. I kind of had like too many phone calls coming in here at the same time, and I had to help Trey get on, and I was actually talking to Sam from YouTube. There was a lot of conversations, a lot of stuff going on at the same time. You guys would not believe what happens behind the scenes back here. So there you go. Bayou Metal says, "Who dat?" I guess that's like is that a Louisiana thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. So
we're not far from Saints. The Saints coming back on. It's almost time for football.
Yeah. So what I know about Louisiana is Little Louisiana. You ever heard of that? Little Louisiana.
Is that a rapper?
Yeah, that's Little Weezy.
Little
Wayne. Little Wayne.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lil Wayne. That's I think one of the best rappers out there in the world right now. Okay, Patrick R. Still going at me. He's still going at me. He's still mad. I apologize, Patrick. Come on. Well, we'll have Patrick on here sometime soon. So there you go. All right. So Trey, tell us give us a little background on you. I think you alluded to it already a little bit. You're a Marine, but give us a little background on you and how you wound up, where's your association, your ties to Full Conceal?
Okay, so background on me. I graduated from Barnauls High School in New Orleans. Actually, the Barnauls in Kenner. I enlisted in the Marine Corps. I ended up at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. I spent basically my whole career in an infantry battalion, and I am very close to being fully retired. And then how I got involved in Full Conceal is a friend of mine from Monroe is actually one of our attorneys, and we were eating dinner one night, and he said, "Hey, you shoot a lot. You know about guns. What do you think about this idea and this company?" And we started talking, and I told him it was pretty cool. And then he from that conversation, I got on the phone and did a little go-to meeting with the inventor and one of the major owners of the company. And after that conversation, I decided that I would invest some of the money that I had in the company. So I bought part of the company, and then I didn't really do anything at first. I was just an investor, and they asked me to go to a show up in Milwaukee. But between the time that I invested and the time I went to Milwaukee, we went to TriggerCon last year with a prototype pistol of our M3 Delta. That's the pistol that's based off the Glock 19. And Recoil Magazine did a quick video that they posted on Facebook, and it was just somebody locking the grip into place. If you go back and look at that video, it's very obvious it was a prototype pistol. All the parts were silver and aluminum, and so you could tell it wasn't a production pistol. but it went to like 2 million views. And I think I told you this story in Iowa, but so that thing went to 2 million views. Well, from that, we got invited to the NRA Carry Guard Expo in Milwaukee. And so they asked me to come up, help work the booth at the show. And at that show, another fan of our pistol came up and just asked me. He had come up to the video or to the booth 2 or 3 different times during the course of the 2.5 days that we were up there. And the last morning he said, "Hey, you mind if I do a quick video?" And he did a video, and that video has gone to like 16 million views. Well, from that, I've just started being, I guess, kind of the spokesman for the company. And we, that's kind of how I got involved and how I got to be on here with you tonight.
Okay, very cool. That seems like you kind of went like downwards from 60 million views, but
and that's one of the things we were talking about, the mystery of social media. You just don't know what's gonna go crazy, and what you think you do something really cool and nobody looks at it, and you do something just kind of off the cuff and it becomes this thing, so
yeah. I think the thing to do, especially when you introduce something when you're new to the field, as you guys are, and then on top of that you introduce something that kind of, it's polarizing, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, we kind of have like a love-hate it kind of thing going on. People who think it's very cool, and then people who think there's like
stupid.
Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, just point out, just flat out stupid.
Yeah, you got those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that. I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't even seen it. How can you say such a thing?
Right. And that's kind of been my deal. First of all, it's not Obamacare. We're not making you buy it. And then the other thing is I've never had somebody that was a hater come up to our booth or on a range and see the gun and actually shoot it, that walked away with anything other than maybe just a neutral impression. So they all move to the positive after they've held or seen the gun.
Yeah. So let's start, because we might have some people who've never heard of full conceal or the folding Glock concept. First of all, you guys don't call it the folding Glock, right?
We call it a full conceal M3D, and I can tell the story a little bit behind that. We got Glock came to us early on and basically said we could not use Glock. Since then they've come back and said,
no.
We would like you to start, using
saying something else.
Glock 19.
Also, now they want you. So you're saying in the beginning they said don't use the Glock name, and now they want you to use the Glock name?
In the beginning, they said that we could not use Glock on our website. We could not say G19, G43. And then since then, they've come back and said, hey, you can start using Glock again. So
that's a big let's not say the word endorsement.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm not going to go all the way there
Right.
because I haven't seen the letter and I wasn't on those conversations. But basically, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's see the gun. Let's see what the current iteration is of the, what was it, the M3DX?
Okay, so this is an M3D.
Okay.
Clear. This is actually one of the guns that you saw up in Iowa. So this is based off of a Glock 19. And as you can see, the controversial grip folding right there.
Mm-hmm.
It ships with a 21 round P magazine, Magpul P mag. So you got 22 rounds of 9mm in a very small, more concealable package because it's not L-shaped like a traditional pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the M3 Delta. Okay, this has been shipping since last November, and everybody that gets it loves it.
And what's the price on that? What's the retail price on that?
The full retail price is $1,049.
Okay. And I think that's probably like a good place for us to start right there. I don't know, Walter, feel free to jump in anywhere here. I think the first thing that a lot of people have to say about this is they talk about the price, right? So
Yep.
Do you want to explain to us where what's going on with the price and why that price?
Okay, we have to buy the full pistol. and then we have to basically rebuild the pistol. So when you're getting our pistol, you're getting a custom trigger. That's our this is our second iteration of the trigger. It's a truly flat trigger. It has the trigger safety just like a factory trigger, but it doesn't have that little button on the trigger shoe like the factory Glock has. We've re-engineered this so that when the pistol is folded in transport mode, there's absolutely no way the pistol can discharge. So our pistol is safer to carry with a round chamber than any other pistol on the market today. So you're getting that trigger, and then you're getting all of the engineering that went into the folding mechanism. And then we replaced the factory magazine with a Magpul PMag. And because we're in a capitalist country, we want to make a little bit of money so that we can continue to develop other models. And that's my segue into the second model that we introduced. This is our full conceal M3S. This is based off of a Glock 43. So it's
hold that a little closer to the screen. So this is the new thing that's coming. Yeah, you can back up a little bit. Yeah, right there. Okay, good. Right. Okay, so this is the M3S and basically a Glock 43.
Correct. Same trigger, same folding and hinge mechanism and latch mechanism as the M3D. Right now, they're shipping with this ETS magazine, and we're working with another magazine company right now to come out with a molded polymer magazine, much like the PMag. Right now, they're shipping with the ETS mag, but what we're going to do when we get our dialed-in magazine is we'll have some kind of program where we can get the people that bought the pistol that shipped with this magazine, we'll replace it with the magazine that we're developing now.
Okay. So okay. Are there some issues with the magazine?
No. One of the things that we wanted to do was one of the things that we did with the M3 Delta was a higher magazine capacity. And if everybody that's familiar with the 43, it ships with a 6-round factory magazine. Mm-hmm. And our final magazine design is going to be a 10-round magazine capacity. So you'll have 11 total. You have 1 in the chamber and 10 in the magazine. And we're just not there with this magazine.
Okay. Okay. So go ahead.
But we had such interest and pre-sales of these that we wanted to start shipping guns. So we did that with this ETS magazine.
All right, cool. So let's just slow it down so we can get some people. And obviously, I know you have some different things you want to show us. Yep. But Walter, do you have any questions here? Anything you want to?
No, I'll just say that at first when we went to SHOT Show, when I saw it, I was a little skeptical, because I'd heard everybody whining about it. And then when I saw how it was made and how it worked, I was like, that's pretty cool. And obviously, some people are going to complain about the price, but some people don't understand that. First thing, you got to make some money. And secondly, you got to start with a donor gun. And a donor gun, dealer on a donor regular Glock is about $440, $450.
Yep. So
that's a big investment to start with. And then you got to do all the mods and the work and everything. So I think it's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, if it's obviously not for everyone. There's no gun that's for every single person. I think people need to figure out what fits what they're looking for. And obviously, you could just have a regular Glock and have it on your hip. I mean, I've got a Glock 43 right now.
I'll tell you about that today a little later, about people and their guns. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, absolutely. We should talk about that. But I think that that's one of the concerns from people. And what people need to realize is you guys are not Glock. You're not building these. I don't know what it costs for Glock to build it. We could all speculate on that. But you've got to buy it from Glock. Then you have to modify it. Now, one of the questions that I have here from Crackbot, excuse me, he wants to know any way they can just sell the lower, or do you guys have?
Okay, so there's 4 ways that you can buy or get a full conceal. You can either buy the full pistol, like we've talked about. You can buy just a frame from us. and you can do the polymer 80 route, which we'll show later. But you can also send us your Glock 43 or your Gen 3 or Gen 4 Glock 19, and we can modify your pistol and return it to you as a full conceal M3D or M3S.
Okay, so what's the prices on those options that you just listed, starting with if someone sends their Glock 19 or Glock 43 to you?
Okay, if you send your Glock to us for a conversion, it's $499.
Okay.
And then what the way that works is you go to our website, fullconceal.com, sign up for the conversion. We're going to send you a box. You're going to clear your pistol, leave the magazine at home, put the pistol in the box, send it to us. We're going to remanufacture that pistol or convert it, put it back in the box, and send it back to you. So there's no FFL involved because it's gunsmithing.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead, Walter.
No. That's exactly right. Now, isn't the 43 the same frame as a 42?
Yes.
So we do a 42 also?
Yes. We can do any compact or subcompact frame that's a single stack.
Okay.
So
okay. I got a 42.
As long as the frames are the same, and we get that question a lot at shows, like the Glock 40 that's a 23. We can do that. We can do that frame and send it back. So there are some 40 caliber Glock or 40 caliber full conceal M3Ds running around out there that were conversions.
Okay. And you can convert a Glock 19. Why can't you convert other Glocks? Because the Glock 19 is double stacked, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
And it has to do with the engineering and the dimensions of the hinge and latch mechanism.
Okay. And then one question I wanted to ask really quick before we get into anything else. For that, you said $499 if someone's sending it into you, right?
Right.
Okay. Do you get what do you get out of that? Just the conversion? Do you get a magazine? What comes back?
When you come back, it's got our trigger, our hinge mechanism, the full 21 round magazine, the grip retention device, which is I'll use the polymer 80 so you can see it a little bit better, but it's this device up on the front, if you can see that.
Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Let me lock it in on you here. So this is a little sneak preview. We are going to talk about the polymer 80 version here in a second.
Yep.
So,
and so what the grip retention device does is it holds it all in transport mode. So you can't, the magazine, when you got a 21 round magazine, there's a little bit more weight to it. So it keeps it from dropping.
Okay.
So, and new stuff, we're working on an improvement of the grip retention device. Like everything else, we want to keep going back and making things just a little bit better.
Absolutely. So let me just go through a bunch of some of the questions here. Walter, if you've got anything, you can feel free to jump in. And I do want to say that I think over time, I don't want to speak for you guys, you're your own company, but I think people, so for example, Ghost Tactical says, love the concept, but they may price a lot of people out of the market. I think that getting the kit gives you options. All of these things may come down as full conceal grows and, manufacturing gets easier for them. They recover some costs and all that kind of stuff. This is all business.
Right.
So let's see what else we got in here. I'm trying to go through. Walter, I don't know if you have anything. Let's see what Scott P79 says. If I'm spending over $1,000 on a pistol, I'm buying a Shadow Tactical 2 CZ. Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
To each his own.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. John Dieter says the idea has been tried once but failed miserably. Every time they folded it, the rounds would pop out of the cylinder of the revolver. Laugh out loud. I don't know. Have you ever heard of that gun? I'm not sure what gun. Walter, do you have any idea?
No, I'm only one I'm familiar with is these guys. So
yeah.
I'm sure that Jim Bowie got caught hell the first time somebody made a folding pocket knife.
I shoot my AK naked says, I'm assuming he said I've shot, but he said I've shit in his comment here. But he says I've shot one, nice trigger. So that's a good thing to bring up here. How is that trigger different from the standard trigger, other than the fact that it gives us that safety when it's folded?
Okay, so our trigger is a truly flat trigger, which is all the rage right now. It breaks right at 90 degrees, and the reset on it is super short. It's going to break right around 5.5 pounds, so it's not much lighter than the factory trigger. But because of the physics of the way the trigger is shaped, you get a little bit more leverage on the trigger, and then our reset is super short. Let me see. I'll try to do this with the camera just to show you. And again, this is an attempt, but so I'm going to try to do this where I don't know if y'all can see that. Is that better?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
Break right there. Now,
okay.
I'm going to hold it and try to charge it without letting go. All right, so look. It just reset right there. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
So again, it's all the way back. So it's resetting right at pretty close to 90 degrees. So you got a truly flat trigger. You've got the trigger safety that I talked about. So when the grip's folded forward in transport mode, there's no way you can make the pistol detonate. And then you don't have that weird button in the middle, so you're not fighting. Not that you fight that, but it's a truly flat trigger. So the physics behind it works better. And everybody that shoots our pistol, and I'm not just saying this, it's true. Everybody that shoots our pistol loves the way the trigger feels. And for I'm kind of getting off into reliability, but my pistol. Let's see if this is mine. Okay, yeah, this is my pistol. This gun has over 3,400 rounds through it. We've never cleaned the gun. My 11-year-old up to older ladies and every demographic in between have shot this pistol. We've not had one stoppage or malfunction. We've not been choosy with the ammo we've picked, and we've not been choosy with conditions. We haven't influenced anything other than letting people shoot.
Right.
And I'm going to try to get to 10,000 rounds to this gun without cleaning it and just see what happens. So
okay.
We get asked reliability questions. I can say, hey, this gun right here has X number of rounds to it, and these are the issues we've had.
Yeah. And then also first of all, as an aside, what I'm going to try to do is get my hands on one or maybe a few of these and torture test them on my own, see what comes out of it. I know that people have concerns. What we're trying to do here with this video is answer those concerns. I'm not trying to convince anyone to buy this or anything. And we're trying to take the time. I think, Trey, you'll be here for whatever time we have here, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just imagine, like, we're able to talk to the guys who manufacture these guns and ask them questions so that the folks out there who do want to purchase them or thinking about them or want to get some knowledge of it, you can come straight to the source here and ask questions. So that's why we're here doing this. I'm going to go through a few more comments and then we'll jump in here a little bit more. Vanessa Kitty says, make a folding Kunin.
Oh God! Here goes.
Vanessa Cootie is all. What am I saying?
Cootie.
Vanessa Cootie. Yeah, Vanessa Kitty is all about the Coonins. Okay, that was a slip. Don't be mad. Don't be mad at me. The Pant says, "Wait, why do I want a pistol to take longer to draw?" Okay, that's reasonable. We'll let Trey address that. Special K wants to know if it will survive being tossed on the ground, like the P10C, etc. Yep. And then Razor JB, who's a big supporter of mine, but not a supporter of this this particular platform. He has a comment. Razor JB says, "This is silly. Sorry." So, do we want to deal with some of these here? Do you want to start?
So yeah. The first one I'll deal with is the pistol that I just showed. And I think me and you talked about this when we met last. That pistol's been dropped. The first day that I got that pistol, I was out in Las Vegas. We were doing some informational videos for our website, and we dropped the pistol in a safe manner, in a controlled environment. on a enclosed range from the same level that you would if you were firing the pistol. I dropped that pistol probably 8, 9, 10 times, maybe more, to get the video of us doing the drop test. We had no negligent discharges. We had no failures in the mechanism. When the gun would land, it would land on the floor plate of the magazine, and I would reach down. A few of the times it landed, the latch came unlatched, but when you grab the natural grabbing or picking up of the gun would relatch the magazine, and I could dump 22 rounds out of that magazine without a malfunction or any kind of failure. So we also later that day, and that one day we shot 1,200 rounds through the gun. So later that day, in another controlled, safe area, I was able to get behind some cover and throw the pistol, and it probably went 20 feet just to see what would happen. I don't know anybody that would throw a gun, but I did it just to kind of see. And when we threw it, it didn't. I don't know how it exactly it landed, but the grip did not come unlatched, and I was able to continue to shoot the whole magazine out of it. And again, we've not had a stoppage or malfunction with that pistol that's been dropped and everything else. So to address the reliability problem or the reliability, we've done some of that torture testing.
Cool. Hold on one second. Let me see. Crackbot gave us $5. He wants me to ask this question again. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Crackbot. We appreciate it. Any chance on just the lower? So I don't know if you want to address that again there, Trey.
Yes.
Can people just get a lower?
You can just buy a frame from us. So you can buy the full pistol, just a frame. You can build your own frame, or you can send us your full gun for a conversion.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, I'm not sure if that answers Crackbot's question there. Surely he's talking about just the lower part of it. Maybe he's talking about just the frame. And you're saying, yes, you can get just a frame because you can, and you can get just a frame directly from you guys, or are you saying that's from Polymer 80?
No, you can get a Glock, a factory Glock frame that we've made into a full concealed frame from us through our website.
And what does that cost?
We reduced the price on the frame, so I'm not exactly sure what it is. But it's on our website. I don't know.
Let me see if I could pull it up here, and I'll pull it up. I'll pull up Full Conceal's website, and let's see the other questions that we had in there. So Razor JB said this is silly.
Jazz hands, real quick. There was a guy. A guy asked about the draw. Okay, and we get this all the time. So it's like any other pistol. If you train with it, you can get it out of your front or back pocket as quickly as most people can draw from a holster outside or inside the waistband. Now, I'm not a world champion 3-gun guy. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can outdraw me. But if you train with our pistol, you can get it to under 2.5 seconds. So you don't have to put the gun together. The gun is together. You have to draw it out of your pocket or out of where you're carrying it, and go from transport mode to ready mode, and the gun is ready to fire. So like anybody else that can get to an under 2-second draw from appendix, they train to that. I would say that you could train to pulling our pistol from concealment in a front or the back pocket or a holster and get it out just as fast. You can also lock our grip into place and carry it in a regular Kydex holster outside or inside the waistband. So you don't have to keep it. You don't have to fold the gun down. You can carry it in a traditional manner like any other pistol.
Okay. And why? Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things. Like, I'm not sure why the draw is so important, other than the fact that obviously, like in the videos and things like that that came out from you guys, you know, people were showing like the fast draw and all that. But is that like a super important part of the whole thing?
You know, if you're carrying concealed to protect yourself, I can see where that would be important. But my thing is, you know, I think the most important thing for being able to protect yourself is having a high degree of situational awareness, knowing what's going on around you. There's a great book called Left of Bang that I've referred people to that was written out of the Marine Corps' Combat Hunter program. And it's just combat profiling. So even if I was carrying a traditional pistol, which I do a lot, I would want to have a better understanding of my surroundings than I would to be able to get the pistol out super quick.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
in other words, if somebody bushwhacks, it doesn't matter how fast you can get it out. If you get jumped and you don't know you're going to get jumped, it doesn't matter.
It depends who's bushwhacking you. I mean,
if like I said, if you're just
if Angela Bassett is bushwhacking me with some bush, I can get it out pretty fast.
Right. Well, and if you get bushwhacked by a 98-pound dude, skinny pants on, I'm probably not going to pull my gun out. I'm probably just going to kick the shit out of it.
Right. Yeah. But if you're just dumb, you know how you are sometimes. You're not thinking, just bumbling along, and you think, oh shit, I'm not even looking around to see what's going on. You know, it's like it could happen any place. You know. Yeah,
I think that all comes into play with when you're. So, for example, you've got butterfly knives and all that people could do all these tricks. I think that's got definitely has a cool factor to it. I don't think it's super important, right? You know, the fact of the matter is, I think we should talk about purpose here. And I think a lot of people would carry this in a way that it's deeper concealment than whatever your usual everyday carry is, right?
I agree with you, and we're kind of drifting back into the ability to draw the pistol quickly or get the pistol into action quickly. If that's your thing, our gun is not the end all be all conceal pistol. It's not. I have 5 or 6 different pistols that I choose from on a day-to-day basis that I choose to carry with me. One is a standard Glock 43. One is a regular old Glock 17 that I usually carry in the wintertime because it's bigger. I have our full conceal M3 Delta and M3S, and then I have a Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0. And I either have one of those guns with me or 2 of them with me all the time. Most of the time, I carry my full conceal in my computer bag. And then a lot of times when I just have it, I grab it to go to the grocery store or a convenience store and just throw it in my back pocket because I'm walking out the door and I don't feel like messing with a holster. Yeah. So where I think and where you were kind of asking is the deeper concealment, or what I call the casual concealed carry crowd. A lady that carries a gun in her purse, a backpacker, a fisherman.
Guys that carry their guns in their pockets or cargo pants, or like Walter. Walter is a pocket guy, right, Walter? No, I'm not messing with you, right? Yeah, Walter's one of those guys. So I think that's why that's what I'm trying to tell people, that this is obviously not for everyone. But I think there are guys out there that don't like. What is it with you, Walter? Do you not like holsters?
Have you noticed how hot it is outside?
Yeah, sure. In Florida, I still carry.
So if I'm gonna wear a holster, I'm gonna have to wear lots of clothes.
Okay.
To cover it up, and where you're going to be printing.
Yeah. So that's where casual.
I can't carry my flap holster yet on the outside yet here. So in Florida, so
true.
So I mean, to me, I just don't find it. I just don't like having extra clothing on. You know.
Yeah. Okay. And see, that's the point. Like, I wear oversized shirts for that same reason that Walter's saying. Walter likes to be sexy and wear undersized shirts so that he looks more muscular. But listen, all kidding aside, like, we just assume everyone uses holsters.
Yeah. I mean, there's things as toolboxes, there's carry bags, computer bags. Some guys have a man bag. You know that you see the dudes always carrying a bag around. You know, I mean,
yeah, true. Yeah,
I don't know what the source of this statistic is, but there's 30% of the concealed carry demographic that does not use a holster, and that's where
what percentage? I'm sorry, did you say 43?
30.
33. Okay.
30%. And again, I can't remember where that's quoted from, but anyway, the statistic is out there. But that's where I feel like our pistol kind of has an advantage because it's safer to carry. Because if let's say a woman or a lady carrying a gun in a purse, she's either got the pistol in the purse floating around in there where keys or something can come on the trigger, or she's got the pistol in what I call a sleeve holster
in her hands
in the bag. So, or she's got it in some kind of holster that's attached to the purse. Well, if it's not attached to the purse, she's got to clear that sleeve holster to get the gun out to where she can use it. Where ours, you just have to reach in there, grab it with your hand, and then lock the grip into place. To me, it's just easier and it's safer. Because when that pistol's locked into transport mode, you can't get to the trigger to detonate or manipulate the trigger until you got the grip locked into place.
Right.
And then for like a backpacker, one of the military applications that would be great for our pistol is put our pistol in 3 21-round loaded magazines and put it under the seat of a pilot's plane, so it's part of his survival kit.
Right.
If he's got to eject, he's got 90 or 120 rounds in a 9mm attached to the seat of his aircraft that he ejected with.
And it takes less space.
So if you have a fisherman that wants to have a pistol in his tackle box, or a businessman that wants to keep a pistol in his briefcase, and in that scenario, because our pistol doesn't look like a pistol, if he opens his briefcase and we've literally had people think our pistol was a stapler sitting up on a table. So, and that I'm not making that up.
No, I mean, I could see where you see a gap and you see metal, and it traditionally has that look,
Right. I mean,
with a little bit of vinyl on the side, you could put the name of the stapler on it, and people think it's a stapler.
That looks like it could be a stapler. So if that's in your briefcase, you're not alarming the general public. Hey, the guy's got a gun in there, but it's just sitting in there. If you need it, then that's where you start drifting away from the appendix inside the waistband, draw and put 5 rounds down range in under a second.
Yeah, I mean, and you could also camouflage that further if you wanted to.
Well, yeah,
right.
So,
just a simple wrap around it, and it's gone. Yeah.
So I carry my revolver in single action. Says he likes that 43 firearm rack. He says his concern is tough use. How much testing have you guys done on the mechanism? Obviously, I would think the mechanism and the trigger would be failure points. Those are places people will be worried about. So
we've done what we feel like is extensive testing, and all that stuff is ongoing. I mean, every time I shoot my pistol, that's a test. But like I said earlier, we've dropped it. We've abused it. Now, I don't know what the failure breaking poundage is or anything like that. But I would not be associated with this company if I didn't feel like it was rugged. Can you break it? Yeah. If you hit it with a freaking sledgehammer, you could break it. But it's going to survive the wear and tear that people put normal guns through. And here's the thing. If something breaks or fails, we have a full manufacturer's lifetime warranty that we will take the gun back and fix it. So, could you break it? Absolutely. It's like any other mechanism on the planet. If something moves one time, at some point, it's going to stop doing it because it's a mechanism.
Yeah, and I think that some people would say, well, if you break it and that's your only gun, first of all, you don't want to break it when it's the only gun you have on you to use.
Right.
So you definitely don't want that. And if you break it and it's your only gun and you have to send it back in, then you have no gun. I would suggest that this is not the kind of thing that you get into as your only option. That's just my suggestion on it, unless you really trust it and you take the time to do that. We've invited Trey to come down to the Hacienda and do some tests with us. As I've said before, we're going to try to get our hands on one where we could test it ourselves over a long time and see. Only time's going to tell with stuff like that.
Right.
I think, you know, and there'll be other people out there that will do the same thing. Brian Quick says, I'll be the lone dissenter and say I will never understand this product or the people that think it's a good idea. Capitalism will prevail. You know, I don't think everyone's agreeing with this thing. So there you go. That's why we're doing this. Go ahead, Walter.
No, they haven't from day one. I mean, there's been. I just remember when before I saw anything or knew anything about it, I saw some people, and right away it's like you know, it's you know, and I'm like, they hadn't even seen the thing. I mean, I've heard that with other people with other guns too. They're experts about everything, and they've never even touched one of these guns. So how you? I hate that car. How can that car be any good? We've never seen that car. How do you know it's not any good?
And you know, again, that's everybody's entitled to their own opinion. My only thing is I would invite you to go on our website, look at the information on there, go to our dealer locator, go put your hands on the gun and make an informed judgment based off of what you're actually seeing. And if you're lucky enough to be near a dealer that has a range and a range gun, go shoot it. And then it still may not be for you. I mean, there's some guys that will never carry anything but a 1911, and I'm okay with that. You know, all I'm saying is that we've given the American shooting public another option.
Right.
It may not be the option that you choose, and I'm good with that. But if you do choose it and it's your only gun, and we pulled somebody out of the non-gun carrying crowd to now a gun owner that's exercising their Second Amendment rights, I'm all for that. And like I said, I have 5 or 6 different pistols to choose from, and I don't always carry our pistol. And I think people, I'm just being honest. Some days I carry a Smith & Wesson. Some days I carry a Glock. Some days I carry a Smith & Wesson and my full conceal M3D. Some days that M3D is the only pistol that I have with me.
And when you carry it, do you always carry it folded?
Yes.
You do.
And the reason I do that is because I carry it in my computer bag. I have a Maxpedition sling bag that I keep my laptop in, and I carry it in that pouch. Or if I'm not carrying it in that, I carry it in my pocket to go run into a store or something like that. Yeah.
So so this is where the point comes up. Like if I see Bricks has this comment and says, "How does this help you?" Call timeout. So call timeout so you can unfold, then engage a threat, ? And I'm not trying to sound rude. And I don't think it's rude. I think it's a good question to ask. I think that depends on every person. If you're going to get this and you're going to carry it folded and you practice taking it out or whatever, you could probably do that pretty fast and all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't necessarily get into, me personally, I wouldn't necessarily get into that. As Trey is saying, as Walter is saying, if you're carrying this in a different way and you just want to make sure that you have something on you, then and in a situation where how fast you deploy it doesn't really, I don't know what kind of time difference is going to make there. You know, it's better to have something on you than to go, you know what, wait a second. Are you going to call timeout to go home?
Well,
and go get into your safe to get something.
And I'm not knocking the guy's question because it is a legitimate question, but unless you already are smart enough to already have your pistol or firearm out and ready, you're going to have to ask timeout anyway, because you got to clear your gun from concealment. You got to draw it, and then you got to level it to get it ready to shoot the person. So there's still some time in there where you have to time out or whatever his comment was. And I'm not bashing him. That's a legitimate comment. So all I'm saying is
there's multiple scenarios that you can get into with people. And I think
you're never gonna satisfy everybody, because everybody's got their own idea of what they want or need or should have or
You know. I just think there's multiple scenarios. So let's say like right now how I'm carrying, I have a Kydex holster on my hip. If I'm really close to someone and we get into something, I've got to get it out, and I'm not even going to aim or anything, right? I'm going to get it out and I'm going to pull the trigger in the direction of that person without, without doing much of anything else. And then there's all kinds of scenarios to back off from that. But in that scenario, it's the same thing. If you had it in your pocket, you'd have to get it out of your pocket like a knife, a folded knife or something like that, and then flip it. If you've only got one hand to do that with, you'd have to get it into operation and then be able to do something with it. Yeah. That may or may not be faster, slower, or whatever, depending on how you train with it.
And I will answer the question like this. I don't know what the time is, but I do know that if you train with this pistol, you can one-handed draw the gun. So, and I can't do it here because of the camera limitations, but you are grabbing the pistol by the top of the frame and then rotating it out and away from your body, and then using the heel of the magazine or the floor plate in your butt cheek or your thigh and rotating the gun and then rolling the gun in your hand. So you can do a one-handed draw and lock the grip into place with some training. And there's some videos that Rob Pincus did with me in our booth at NRA. And then there were some videos that were posted not too long ago of me showing a one-handed draw with the M3S out of my back pocket. So you can do it. And my thing is if you got a guy that's training to do that, he can be as effectively fast with our pistol as any other pistol. But you've got to train. My thing is have a good gun and have great training.
Mm-hmm. And realize you're going to get into different scenarios. And if there's some reason why you don't carry a gun on you, like Walter was saying, you don't want to put on a bunch of clothing, but you don't want it to be seen. You carry it in the pocket. You want to put it into the pocket of a bag or something like that may not have a specific gun holster or gun pouch or whatever it is in there. You want a different option. If you want it in your car or wherever it is, this is just an option. And, I think that's the best that we could say about it there. I want to move on in a couple of minutes to the other options that you guys have. Tango Hunter has a comment. He says, anyone use ETS mags successfully? My brother-in-law bought some for his G43. They had issues. So I don't know. What experiences anyone out there had with the ETS magazines? Is that what you guys are using?
I have some, but I haven't shot them too much, actually.
Yes.
I have them for the 42.
And I'm not going to sit here and endorse or knock ETS, but we're working on a better magazine solution right now.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's see here.
That's only for the 43. Now I've never heard anybody complain about the PMag.
Okay. From the Glock. Well, that's Glocks, right? The PMag, obviously. I'm going to assume
it's a Magpul 21 round.
A Magpul, Magpul, excuse me. Right. Yep. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I know there's still a bunch of people. Razor JB says that all those potential breaking points, period, complete novelty. So potential breaking points in there. I think the only way to deal with that is to test it. I don't know what you have to say. Walter, you make stuff. What do you think about this? You handled it.
I was impressed with the way it was made, actually, at the SHOT Show. That's one of the things I look at, the metal and how it all works together and everything. And I was like, oh, it's pretty cool. Oh, man. It wasn't.
All right. So, very early on, we had a gun that was made out of 3D printed plastic parts. The latch mechanism, the trigger, and we shot a few rounds through that gun. Now it wouldn't last, but to answer the guy's question about reliability, when the gun is locked into place, you've got a stick through the middle of it, the magazine. You've got your hand wrapped around it. We've shot the gun with no latch mechanism and had no issues. Now you wouldn't want it to be like that all the time, but just to show the functionality of it, you're holding the gun and the grip, the lower part of the grip and the upper part of the grip together with your hand, and then you've got a full stick, the magazine going up through the middle of it. So at some point, that latch mechanism could and probably will fail. I don't know how many times You're going to have to fold and unfold to get it to fail. But I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that it's failure proof, because it's a mechanism. But I'm just telling you that once the grip is locked into place and you've got your hand around it, you can shoot it all day long without having a problem. And we had a guy at TriggerCon this year come up, and he had such a death grip on the pistol. He was making the latch mechanism come undone with the heel of his hand. And I asked him, I said, let me see the gun. And I took it and I would shoot it and everything was fine. And I don't know if he was trying to get it I don't know what he was trying to do, but it was obvious he was grabbing it a lot harder than a normal person was. And he was a media guy. He's on YouTube. I'm not going to mention his name, but it seemed to me like after he walked away, he was trying to induce a failure. But I mean, you had to have been watching him to see how hard. I couldn't get it. I couldn't grab it as hard as I could and get it to do it. I could not.
Or he's someone who like uses his wrist for some other actions that make that wrist pretty tough.
So he was doing this with a magazine in it?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's some serious grip strength right there.
I couldn't replicate it. And a guy that was with me was able to do it once, and he couldn't get it to do it again.
Why would you squeeze it that hard when you were using the gun?
I don't know.
But I still don't think so. And what happened when he did that? Just out of curiosity.
I said, let me see it. And I locked the grip back into place by putting my hand around it and shot 2 rounds, hit the target, and handed it back to him, said nothing's wrong with it. And he did it. I said, well, give it back. And I shot 2 more rounds, gave it back, and then he couldn't do it again and finished shooting the magazine. And then he picked up a full production Glock, the M3 Delta, not the Polymer 80. That we were having that problem on the Polymer 80. On the full production pistol, he had no issues at all.
Okay. Yeah, listen, I don't think there's anything wrong with trying to make stuff fail.
Nope.
I think that's a good thing. Let's try to make it fail, figure out what failure points would be and what to do with it. So,
and when I come down there, we're going to try. And I should have you guns coming pretty soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we will endeavor to break it.
Yep.
I'll just endeavor to use it.
We're going to endeavor to use it.
I'm not one that believes in the breaking it, busting on it, trying to break it on purpose.
Yeah,
that's not the way. That's not the way the guns get used. Sorry.
No, I get that. I totally.
It'd be like taking this like this and just beating against the table. That's not the way the guns get used.
We're going to shoot it with an RPG and see what happens.
Yeah. We're going to run it over with a tank. Come on. That's not.
Can we get an RPG?
No, I can. I don't know anybody, but.
Well, Trey's looking around like he's got an RPG somewhere.
I probably could arrange a tank if I tried hard enough.
Yeah.
I now have dogs in my house.
Oh, they can gnaw it. I got a Italian Mastiff growing up, so that thing can gnaw on anything.
Yeah. But listen, we will try to put it through its paces. I want to know. I like to know where things fail and all that kind of stuff.
I do too.
And do unusual, unusual pressures and all that kind of stuff on things to see what happens, because I think that's a good thing. It's good for us all to know where we fail, right?
I agree. And from a testing and engineering and improving standpoint, I think you need to be honest about failures and shortcomings. Because that's going to help us go back and redesign the next model better. But if I had to pick this pistol up and defend myself with it, I would have no problems. And I'm saying that in all honesty and integrity. I would kill the shit out of somebody with a pistol if I needed to.
Yeah. So we've got lots of people saying what they would do with $1,000. So we've got lots of comments on that. Some people say, I think someone here was saying that they would buy the SHTF 50. I think that was one of the guys that just shot it. I don't know if that was Gorillas and Guns or one of those guys that was
over the weekend. Yeah, that was Armament and Axis did that. Yeah,
Armament and Axis. There you go. Yeah. So that's good. Someone said if he had 1,000, he would buy a 45 and an AR plus rounds. And someone says they would buy this gun or that gun. Absolutely. That's called freedom, people.
Yep.
It's called freedom. Absolutely. Freedom get what you want to get. All Thumbs wants to know what kind of warranty comes with the conversion.
It comes with a full manufacturer's lifetime warranty.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Firearm Rack wants to know: did you just say that the 42 and 43 are the same frame?
Yeah, we did
Question
say
mark.
that.
Yeah.
We
So,
think
do you want to revisit that? Huh?
I think they are. I'm not totally sure, but they look to be the same size. And
Okay.
if it is the same frame, we can do the conversion on a 42 and a 43, just like we do on a 19 frame and a 23 frame.
Okay. We may have to verify that. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that actually. I mean,
Yeah.
there could be some internal differences, but
Yeah, we would have to look at that. So that's not 100%. Don't hold us all to that.
I don't know that we've done any 42s, but if it's the same size frame, we can do it.
yeah, I'm not like ultra Glock boy or anything, so I couldn't tell you for sure. So
Yeah, I don't think they're the same. I don't think they're the same size, but I could be wrong. Maybe I don't know if there's someone like in engineering or whatever at Full Conceal that we can get in touch with, and we will verify that. So so Tyven Show wants to know if you're going to offer this on a Beretta, because Tyven Show is Tyven's against any polymer handguns.
can't do it on Beretta, and I'll tell you why. Because the grips are not part of that frame assembly that gets cut and done. So how you'd have to make a completely different frame to do it on a Beretta.
I'm going to answer the question this way. We are fairly confident that we can take any polymer framed striker fired pistol and make a like pistol that's very similar to the Full Conceal M3D that's in production today.
Yeah, he's thinking the 92 though, and that's a aluminum frame. So yeah, that's not gonna.
Yeah. So, and then I carry my revolver in single action wants to know if you do it on only Glocks. So let's go in and talk about some of the stuff that's coming up. This is probably a good point to do that. Yeah. Let's go into what the other things are that you guys have coming up, Trey.
Okay, so I've already kind of showed it, but I'll break it back out. So we just partnered with Polymer 80 and Barnauls, and you now can order a build-it-your-own kit. So you'll get the Full Conceal Polymer 80 frame, and then you can go crazy custom on it like I did on this one. This is a friend of mine's slide and muzzle brake. It's got an RMR cut on top of it. It's got can sights on it. You can do a threaded barrel. You can put a suppressor on it, and you can build your own Polymer 80 frame like we did with this one.
Okay. And what is that combo going to cost? Have you guys figured that out yet? And when is it coming out?
Yeah, it's out right now. You can order it off our website. And the frame with the trigger and everything is $479.
Okay.
80% complete. Then you just have to do a little bit of cutting on it and put your slide and barrel on it.
Okay, so so that's the P80 kit on the website. I think it's like $479.
Yep.
From what I could see. Okay.
And then the real newest prototype, and I don't know if I can get it all in the camera, but we're working on partnering with CAA, so we're gonna have a Full Conceal Roni. What you can see right here.
Right.
It'll come with a 34-round magazine. It's going to have the same collapsibility as our pistol. So, hold on just a second. So you have a very small pistol caliber carbine or a backpack. Holo Sun was nice enough to give us this sight. It won't come with an optic, but you can put whatever optic or iron sights you want on that. So that's the very newest thing. These should be in production and shipping around Christmas. So these are like super new. This is a prototype. There's only 2 of these in the world.
Okay. So, and when do you guys expect that that's coming out?
We're hoping to have it done by Christmas.
Okay, and then there's some changes to what we see here that you're going to make.
Yeah, there's a few small changes that we're working on. I'm not sure exactly what the final product's going to be. But the cool thing is when you get this, you get the chassis and you get our gun inside of it. So you'll have one of these inside of this. So you can have a pistol or a pistol caliber carbine like this.
Okay. And obviously we've got comments on that going up there. Do you know price on this?
We have not set an MSRP yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I think Razor JB likes this even less. And some people are asking, and I think, hey, it's a valid question. Let's ask it. What is, you know, and there's mixed reviews on this. Like Brick says that looks slick, but at the same time, people are asking, like, what's the point of it being an Armory setup? What do you guys have to say to that?
We're just making a more compact pistol caliber carbine. For me, if I had to give a purpose, I just think it's cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not.
And you know what? A lot of people will buy stuff because it is
the cool factor.
Cool. So jazz hands.
It's so, like what does Nothing Fancy say? Sometimes it's just the other side of the pillow cool.
Right. And you know what? You're giving that people that option if they want it. You don't have to buy it. If you don't like it, don't buy it.
Right.
The last thing that they want you to do is buy their stuff and then be unhappy. Just like me. I'd rather sell my stuff to somebody that loves my stuff and wants it versus somebody that I hear complain constantly.
Right. And you know, one of the applications would be, you know, a camper and having a bear gun. One of the things that we're talking about doing is building the Roni chassis for a 10 millimeter long slide. So you got a little bit more of a carbine caliber in a smaller package. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's just one of the things that we talked about. And that's some of the feedback we're getting from some of the people that we've interacted with at shows. And again, I don't know what the final version, is going to be or look like, but it was a collaboration that we wanted to do with CAA, and we're working on having a production model of that. And there's going to be people that hate it. My favorite negative comment to date is, and I think I'm going to do a T-shirt of this, is put a cape on it, then it'll be super gay. I was like, that's T-shirt worthy.
Yeah. And Razor JB, I'm using his comments because, you know, Razor JB has supported me for a long time, which I appreciate. He says, I won't buy it, but we're here discussing, so we're giving our opinions, which is true. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah.
No, I have learned to welcome all of the comments and opinions. So thanks, Razor JB. I'm not.
Well, you know, Opt Out of Gun Control is talking about. It's called the bricks is called Chris Vector. I'm not a big Chris Vector fan. I think it's like goofy. I mean, it's big and it, you know, but some people love the Chris Vector. I know some people who do.
Right.
It's just not my cup of tea. So hey,
I would like to have a Chris Vector. I think they're cool.
I would put one in my collection, but is it like on top of the list?
I don't know what I need it for, but I would.
Well, there's lots of other guns that do the same thing.
Right. Yeah, CB says innovation is what the gun industry needs. Look, so the Chris Vector, I like the Chris Vector under certain circumstances. I like it full auto and suppressed.
As long as somebody else is buying the ammo.
No, there's some sense to it, full auto and suppressed. I mean, honestly.
But you know,
I don't. Maybe with like a binary trigger, it makes more sense. There are things about the Chris Vector, but the whole vector part of that doesn't really come into play unless it's full auto, or you've got some kind of rapid fire situation going on.
You don't get the advantage of that whole system unless it's running full auto. Yes.
Yeah. I see Patrick from the Firearm Rack saying not a fan of semi-auto vector either. The full auto gun is really decent. And that's the thing. Like if you shoot the two different guns, you'll see that. I've shot both. And the full auto one, that whole vectoring situation that goes on in that gun comes into play. Yeah, you know, so full auto suppressed, the double tap out of that, or what is it? The double or triple tap is freaking awesome.
my impression of the Chris is it's the Thompson of our time, but you have to shoot it on full auto to get that advantage. And I want one. I'm not gonna lie, I want one just because I think they're cool. I think the way they're designed and the engineering behind it is cool. And at some point, I might have enough money to afford the ammo and the gun. So.
Yeah. And Brian Quick says, what does he say here? I just need to point out the guy selling the full conceal is a Marine. So I don't know if that's good.
The Marine Corps Mafia is strong. Semper Fidelis. If anybody asks, my favorite color crayon to eat is red.
Okay. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah. So let's see. Razor JB says smart innovation, yes, but this teaches or goes around the fundamentals and standards. Yeah, I think, can't deny that. It does that.
Fundamentals and standards are we going around?
He's talking about the fundamentals of the draw from a
yeah. And the president's not supposed to tweet either. All right, so you just remember that stuff. All right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think so let's get into this. I would love to get in. We should get into some other stuff here, but let me ask you this: since we're talking about all of this, I don't know how much you guys can reveal or not reveal, but how many of the full conceal what you have out now on the market have you sold? If you could tell us,
we have sold in the multiples of thousands.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys have sold enough of them that you think it's a good business proposition going forward.
Yes. And the price we're working every day to get the price point down through production efficiencies and all those things that any other manufacturing business faces. So we're working hard to get the price point as low as possible, but maintain quality and maintain
profitability
and a consistent quality product. So any other manufacturer does that, we're doing the same thing.
Okay. And have you, other than civilians, are you selling it to any law enforcement, military, special ops, or anything like that?
I'm very glad you asked that question. I got beat up the other day on Instagram by a guy. We sold it to several police departments. I am not going to name them, but there are several. We've sold it to one federal law enforcement agency. I will name the agency, Department of Homeland Security. And we have sold some to foreign police departments, and we have some interest from foreign militaries.
Okay.
So, yes, I will answer the question to a certain point, but I don't want to reveal because I don't have permission from the police departments that we sold to tell who we've sold to, but we have sold some to law enforcement and state and federal.
Yeah, and I think there's some specialized uses for this. I don't think there's any part of this if you want to fit it into what you do normally or a normal defense situation or things that you train for, then you could fit it in. You better train for it.
Exactly.
On top of that.
And I would rather have somebody have a good pistol and great training than a great pistol and no training, because what you're probably going to do is you're going to eat a $4,000 pistol when somebody that's trained beats you with it.
Yeah. And the firearm rack would like you to go over the trigger safety, how that works when the pistol is not folded and all that kind of stuff. So I know you went over that before, but let's go over that again. I think that's not a bad point here.
So this is our 2.0 trigger. It's going to be very difficult to do this on the camera, but I'm going to try. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's a very small lever. If you look right up against the right.
Yeah, I see something. Yeah, we can see if you hold it still.
So when
there you go.
You look right there. You see that little bar moving?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the lock. Okay, so when the gun is down, the heel, I call it the heel of the trigger shoe. See that right there? That's what. So if I fold that down, the trigger is locked. There's no way, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on it, trying to get it to detonate or discharge. So when I come up, so again, that little bar is the locking mechanism for our trigger. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the magic behind the trigger safety. So when the gun is in transport mode with a round in the chamber, even though that little piece right there is exposed, there's no way you can make it detonate.
Okay.
The other thing is it's pushing back on the trigger bar, so it's locking the plunger safety and the drop safety inside the pistol. So you're still using all three safeties: the trigger safety, it's ours, and then the factory plunger and drop safety inside the gun. All the internal parts except for the trigger shoe are Glock original parts. So once it's like this, it's like any other Glock 19.
Mm-hmm.
And all the controls are the same. So, and again, it's very difficult to do this with the cameras that we have because I'm just using my little camera on my laptop. But if you see the gun in person, it's very easy to see how that works.
Yeah, I think that, okay, so here we go. So I've got some comments. Thanks for that. I don't know. I hope that covered everything. If Patrick from the Firearms Rack has another question, let me know. I'll try to get more details out of it. Opt Out of Gun Control says he bets it's Sky Marshals that might find this useful. I don't comment on that if you know, I don't want you to get into any trouble for coming on here.
All I'm gonna say on that is I have a very, very good friend who was like my brother in the Marine Corps, and he is a federal air marshal. And because of him, now he didn't come to our booth at SHOT Show, but several of his colleagues did, and they were very, very, very interested. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. And Brick says, I can see someone in an office who is not supposed to carry, have one of these stuffed into drawer for the day he hears that one coworker who he thought was strange, acting a fool or something like that. Razor JB says military isn't buying this. Christian Grass says, I don't think it's for everyone. Walter, why you gotta laugh? Why you
No,
laugh?
I mean, how does he know the military is not buying this? That's trust me, there's more going on in the military than you know, Razor JB. So,
well, I think you might have. There may be some uses. I can see guys who are in police departments that are undercover. You know,
just as simple as having it in the bag, in addition to your other things. So, if somebody thinks you're disarmed, surprise, surprise.
Well, okay, so let's. And this isn't happening, but this is just another. Beside the pilot and the ejection seat scenario, what about a machine gun team that has a spare barrel bag and a tripod all in a bag? Don't you think they may want to have a pistol in that bag? I'm not saying that we're doing that. I'm just saying that there's all kinds of uses for the gun. But is a soldier going to carry our pistol? No, he's not. He's going to carry a full-size pistol that's either a 1911, a Beretta, or the new SIG P320 that the military.
Yeah, they've got limitations on what they can do.
A normal soldier doesn't care if anybody. No, he wants people to know he's armed.
Right. But I think that there's situations where you might want to use something like this, and I think I think those situations go for civilian, non-civilian. So there you go. Christian Gress says, I don't think it's for everyone, but it's nice to have options for defense.
Somebody gets it.
James Lawson says, Semper Fi.
Semper Fi back.
Yeah, Harry's Holsters says that he can think of a few, and I think he's referring to Razor JB with the, with his comment that he says he can think. Harry's Holsters says he can think of a few who might. So let's ask this question right here. Holsters, Harry's Holsters. He makes Kydex holsters. Yep. Are there Kydex holsters for this?
Yes, we have worked with LAG Tactical, and they have some outside and inside the waistband holsters for carrying the pistol in traditional carry mode, so the grip is locked up. And then we have another holster that is designed to carry the pistol in transport mode. So the grip is locked down. It's outside the waistband. And the draw stroke is very simple, and I'll demonstrate it without the holster. So the holster is a Kydex sleeve that holds the gun by the frame, and then the draw stroke is that. So it's outside the waistband, right or left side. The gun is held like this, and then the draw stroke is just up and out of the holster. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And
I get that.
Hank, when I come down to shoot the pistol with an RPG and beat it with a sledgehammer and set it on fire, I'll bring that holster so we can play with it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll bring a tank. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think that Patrick from the firearms rack is saying that you still didn't explain how the safety works unfolded.
I think he's talking probably internally somehow, but
yeah. So I don't know if there's some more. Can you revisit that one more time for us?
That's how the safety works unfolded. So if the gun is in ready to fire mode or
yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So instead of having a button on the trigger, what people would think is the whole entire trigger is the button. Does that make sense? So that whole thing right there is the button.
Let me lock it in on you. Okay.
That's the heel of the trigger shoe right there. So by pushing back on that, you're releasing the trigger safety and allowing the gun to fire. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So Patrick says he wants to understand how that locking bar is preventing the trigger from moving.
Well, when the gun is like that, when it's like that, it can't move because it's locked into place. So when you start when it's down and you start pushing rearward, it unlocks it.
Okay.
yeah.
So what I'm seeing, that silver button that we're seeing there just above the trigger and that heel that you're talking about, it pushes down on that?
Well, there's a small bar, and again, it's
that we saw when you flipped it over, right?
That is what's locking it and unlocking it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
And again, Patrick, I'm not avoiding your question. It's just very difficult to answer the question when you're not actually seeing it in detail.
Yeah, he says, I get that it's locked, but how is it locked?
There's just a little bar that goes into a slot that locks it, and then when you push back on it, it unlocks it.
Okay. Maybe this is the kind of thing that we would have to see the internals of the gun.
Right.
Yeah. In order to then he says now you may have kind of just answered that. So there we go. Yeah, it's always a little different. Like we don't have Patrick actually on. He doesn't have one in his hands. So like it's kind of tough to do it all, through the internet here. But
there's three pieces to the trigger shoe. There's the little bar that you push against with your finger, and then there's that smaller locking bar that's interacting between the flat thing that people call the trigger or the shoe, and then what I call the heel, which is that part that's sticking up with the pin through it. Well, that little locking bar engages those two other parts. So when those three parts are working together, you can pull the trigger, and it will detonate or discharge the pistol.
Yeah.
If the trigger bar or the shoe is folded forward, then it's disengaging the locking bar, and so you can't make it shoot.
Okay. Question mark has a good answer for this. He says, and this is his name, by the way, question mark. He says, at the firearms rack, it's locked by leprechaun and unicorns.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hang on.
And Patrick is saying he would have loved to be on with you. I don't know if Lola's listening. Lola maybe can help us get Patrick on in the last like half hour or whatever we have. Let me see. Lola, can you hear me? Send Patrick a link so he can get in here. I seriously want to get this all clean, like as much as we can.
Yeah, so
everyone's comments and everything. That's why we have Trey on. We'll have Trey come back on again. Razor JB says, got to give this Marine a good hoorah for putting up with the naysayers, to include myself and future parties. It's tough, but respect for that. So
no, Razor JB, I appreciate it. It's just like everything else. You just got to embrace it and be honest. And, you know, I don't have all the magic answers. I don't fart pixie dust or anything like that. I'm just going to answer the question the best I can and rock on.
Yeah, Razor JB is a good dude. I'm telling you guys that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you know, we need, like, we can't just agree with everything. We all need to be able to ask each other questions, or you know, or push each other in one direction or another to see if you know where we're really at with all this. And I'm trying to do it, you know, in as like respectful a way to everyone as possible. That's the whole reason why I started doing this, you know, so we can like go deeper levels.
Right. No, look, again, you know, a good constructive negative comment taken the right way will help us get better. So I welcome that stuff. Yeah.
Cyrus 308 wants to know the MSRP. I know you gave that before. Give it to us again. And PCB wants to know how the pistol's folded. So hit us with those two if you can.
Okay. So MSRP is $1,049. And then how the pistol is folded and unfolded is, if you look on the back of the grip, there's a little bar that you push down on. So it's like an old-fashioned pocket knife. That little hook is locking over that pin right there. So it's locked, and then to unlock it, you just push down and fold the grip down.
Okay. That was a very good question, by the way.
Yeah, it is. And that's a great question, because it would blow your mind how many people will stand there at a booth at a trade show or on a range and watch us fold the pistol, and they've seen us do it, and then they have to ask. So that's probably one of the things we're going to have to put on our website, is a good video showing how to fold and unfold, or lock and unlock the grip.
Yeah, so, good. So now Razor JB says, no, I'm not a good dude.
Neither am I.
He's also a smart ass, by the way. So there you go. He is a good dude. I'm just telling you guys, Razor JB has supported my channel for a long time. So I think he's a good dude.
Hey, does he live close to you?
Is he in Florida or Georgia? I don't know. Tell us right now where you live. I think he's somewhere in the neighborhood of the Floridas or the South.
Hank,
I could be wrong. What's up, Walter?
Does Patrick have a 43?
The firearms rack, I think he has a 43.
No, Babyface.
Oh, Babyface, yes, several.
Okay, I need to see it next time we get together, because I'm going to compare 42 to 43.
Okay, yeah, I have a 43 also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So why were you asking about Razor JB and where he lives? I'm trying to wait for his answer.
Oh, there's Patrick.
Yeah.
So the reason I was asking about Razor JB, if when I come down there, he can come out maybe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Razor JB says North Pole. He's in North Carolina. But Razor JB, if you want to come down, you can come down and shoot with us on the Hacienda. You can help us try to break this if you want, man. If you're interested in that, let me know, and then we'll get in touch, and I'll let you know when trays come in, and we'll work it out so that you could be here and test it. Maybe you can even come with Patrick. I don't know. Patrick could pick you up on the way or something.
I think Patrick's on there now, right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is Patrick from the firearms rack. I don't know if you guys have ever met.
I don't think so. Hey, Patrick.
How you doing?
Good, man.
Get my screen all situated here.
Go ahead.
So there you go. So I know Patrick's getting set up. I don't know if there's any other questions. Walter, have you seen any other thing? You have any comments here?
No, I'm just sitting back and listening.
Yeah. Walter's interesting. I think Trey is really cool for like coming here, taking all these questions.
I don't have any problem. I think like I said, I like the thing myself.
Yeah,
it had its place, just like every.
Walter was a naysayer in the beginning. I think Walter came with. Do you remember Trey at SHOT Show? I came to your booth
the second time.
I remember meeting you and Lola and giving y'all shirts.
Yeah, so Walter came with me that second time to the booth.
Okay.
Because I said, listen, Walter, I want you to come check this thing out and tell me what you think. Don't, and Walter doesn't like mix his words or mince his words? One of those.
Oh, if I don't like something, I don't get in somebody's face that your stuff sucks. I just look at it and go, okay, that's nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
so you probably didn't notice Walter and actually Will, his son, were checking it out and doing stuff with it.
I played with the opening thing. I had the big, ginormous 30-something round mag trying to get it to flip open. And, of course, that's the more difficult one, and I was trying to do the more difficult one. But I could definitely see with practice, you can get it to go without too much problem. So,
Yeah. All right. So, Patrick, you all set up?
Just about.
Okay, cool. All right. So what did you need to know, my friend? Go ahead.
No, I think I understand a little bit better about how the trigger safety works now. Now, what I'd like to know is this like mass compliant? Is it Cali compliant? Has this been submitted to a lab to have drop testing done on it? Have we just assumed it's good?
All right. So no. All right. So we've not submitted it to a lab, but I've drop tested my pistol numerous times.
Okay. When you're drop testing, specify what you mean by that, please.
Okay. So at the height that you would have the pistol out to shoot. So with me, it's probably, I'm 5'7". So at 4 feet or whatever that is, we dropped it and had no problems. We didn't have any negligent discharges. We didn't have any failure of a mechanism, meaning that you couldn't. So, but labs, no.
Now, when you're dropping it, are you dropping it like this? Are you dropping it like this?
Okay, so when we dropped it, I'll show you exactly. All right, can you see? We dropped it to try to make it land like that. Sometimes it would land on its side. Sometimes it would land halfway, so like this. But most of the time we dropped it, we were able to get it to fall straight and hit on the magazine floor plate. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. I'm tracking what you're. So really, your focus was to test the mechanism, the folding mechanism.
Correct.
Yeah. So like now, the concern that I had was the robustness of that trigger safety. So, there has been other guns on the market. The P320 is probably the most notable example that that have had issues with drop safety. And I mean, it's a real thing because you hear guys say, well, just don't drop the gun. And when you dig into reports of it happening, you'll find people that accidentally drop the gun. They try to use a gun in a defensive situation and, a discharge will happen or something like that. But
and you're talking about the P320?
Yeah, P320, Honor Defense, Honor Guard. There are some other guns like the Canik guns, anything that's a derivative of the P99. They all kind of fail in the same way. And like I wanted to know if you guys had done any testing on the version 2 trigger. I wasn't able to find any really good images of the version 1 while I was listening. So I mean, like I'd be interested to see how that safety system works as well.
Hey, if you'll give me like 30 seconds, I'm going to go look. I don't know if I have a pistol with a version 1 trigger in it. We had one at TriggerCon for the booth, but I think that pistol went back to Vegas. If you'll give me just 30 seconds, let me go see if I've got, because I can do good.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, go ahead and do that. I think Vanessa Kitty was asking if the lower version is for sale, if you have to get it through an FFL or not. You know what? That's a good question.
If it's finished, you do.
Yeah, if it's finished, absolutely. But I think that they're doing this in cooperation.
I don't have that. I don't have that version 1 trigger here.
That's cool. And after, I'll get you my email. I'd like to, talk to whoever designed the thing, like more clearly understand how everything works, how it all fits together.
No, if you'll give me your email address through Hank.
Yeah.
text.
I think once we come off air, I'll make sure you guys exchange
Yeah.
info and all that kind of stuff.
Patrick, what I'll do is I'll get you in touch with our plant manager or manufacturing manager, and he can answer. He can go like into metallurgy if you want to get that deep.
Yeah, no, that'd be wonderful. Like
So-
that's all stuff that I legitimately care about. Because when you start using these guns in hard use situations, be it as a cop, a serious shooter, somebody who wants to get better, train, if you will. Yeah, I really don't like the word train, but that's when you start seeing like weird failures with guns and understanding how it's all put together. Like I can kind of wrap my head around it.
No, I totally. I'll get you in touch with the guy to ask. I'll get you in touch with him, and then you can also talk to the inventor and the owner, and he can go into freaking atomic level detail.
Good. No, earlier I heard you say that the 42, 43 frames are the same. They're and you guys weren't quite sure on that. They are in fact two separate frames. Like they don't interchange whatsoever. So now the mechanism, is it something that is sized to each frame, or is it, well, this is a single stack mag, this is a double stack mag? How does that kind of work?
So the hinge mechanism, there are parts that are the same, and then there are parts that are sized to the different pistols. So, and that's one of the ways that we were able to keep our costs down. There's a part on there called the bananas, and that's, if you can see it, that piece right there.
Okay.
Those are the same. The rest of it is a little bit different because you have a different dimension. The the locking bar is different, but some of them are the same. Now the trigger itself is the same. If I'm 90% sure all that's the same.
The trigger should be shared amongst all full-size Glocks. The trigger bar is different on like Gen 5 guns. The 42 and 43 both have different trigger bars as well.
But the shoe, the part that we do is the same.
The shoe will be different on the 42, 43, but it should share the shoe.
Right. Now, on the two, the 43 and the 42 and the 43, the factory shoe is different, but ours is the same. Now and like I said earlier about the 42, I wasn't aware that we've done a 42, but I know if the frame is the same size, we can do it. But you're saying it's different, and I wasn't 100% sure if they were the same. I know they're very close. I think the 42 is actually a little bit narrower or something. But yeah.
It's completely like smaller in just about every dimension. Like so when they introduced it a year prior to the 43, people were really looking at the 42, trying to figure out how they could cram a 9mm into a 380 pistol with like a barrel change or something, and it just wouldn't work because it wasn't going to fit.
I got you.
Yeah. And Trey's not like the designer, engineer, inventor of this thing. So, he's like he's a former Marine. He's an investor in the company. He's the guy that goes out there and talks about all this. So everything coming out is not going to be exactly perfect. I'm glad that Patrick brought it up so that we could address it. I think there's a couple of questions I want to get to from people in the chat, and then we can get into anything else in whatever time we have. Vanessa Kitty wants to know, if you get the lower, does that have to go through an FFL?
Okay,
how does that work?
If you buy a lower from us, it has to go through an FFL. If you send us your lower or your full pistol for conversion, because that's gunsmithing and there's no transfer of ownership, you do not have to go through an FFL. If you buy the Polymer 80 kit, you don't have to go through an FFL.
Okay. All right, good. So hopefully that answers that. Harry's Holsters would like to, he says he wants to hear more. Go ahead, Patrick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've got a question about the Poly 80 kit. So what exactly is done to the Poly 80 kit? I mean, obviously you guys have to modify the frame to.
Yeah. So when you get your Polymer 80 kit, this cut is done. The hinge mechanism, the bananas are mounted. This part of the trigger guard is in place, you have to put this on. You have to drill some pinholes up here and do some cuts up here. But this cut right here is done. And then you have to put the rest of this in there. And then you have to put your internals in it. So
Okay.
Okay, so the cuts on the back of the frame are done.
yeah, this
Back
part
of the
is
grip.
on there. The bananas are mounted. You have to finish this part and this part and put your internals in it, and then cut some holes and do some milling in the little jig that it comes with.
Okay. Was that good, Patrick?
Yeah, no, I was wondering if it like altered the 80% status of the frame when they're installing the parts.
Yeah, it doesn't. You still have to do some of the work, but the hard parts are done for you. Makes sense?
Yeah. No, that makes sense for sure. Now the Gen 1 trigger, I kind of found like a tabletop review of somebody like folding the pistol, looking like down into where the mag would seat into the well, I guess what's left of the mag well.
Right.
And when you look at the trigger bar, you can see it, like moving forward off of the trigger safety. Now, is that something that you guys have like changed so it doesn't pull the trigger bar forward when you fold the gun now with the version 2, right?
Yeah, it locks all that up. It is that's the best answer I can give you. It moves it a little bit and locks it into place. But all right, so the very early production Gen 1 or first trigger, we had problems when you unfolded the grip, the trigger wouldn't come all the way down. It would kind of hang at about 60 degrees. And so we changed that to get it to come down further. And now it comes all the way down with no problems.
Okay. And like,
if you have the first generation or version 1 trigger, you can go on our website and we will upgrade your trigger to the Gen 2 or version 2 trigger.
Okay.
yeah, and like when I was looking at that video where it was like a close up of it being folded and the trigger bar being pulled forward, it looked like so I'm gonna break my 17 apart again. On the right about there, so the shape of the little bump that interfaces with the striker safety, like I'm thinking that it's getting caught right here. Was that what was going on?
I'm not sure what. No, I can see the part. I'm just not sure what your question was.
On the version 1, was the trigger bar getting caught on the front edge of the striker safety, the striker block? Was that what was preventing it from folding down all the way?
I'm not sure. I think that's probably right, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'd be interested to find out.
Yeah, and that's one of those questions. When I get you in touch with our production manager, TJ, he'll give you all the down and dirty details.
Okay. I mean, I think a follow-up question I would have for that is, what was the big thing that made you guys change the version 1 to the version 2? What was it that you found? Okay,
the big reason was with no trigger safety, no law enforcement agency would they couldn't, for liability reasons, buy our handgun. So after NRA, we met with and I can't remember what the guy's title is, but he's basically the NRA's law enforcement rep. He met with Mike, and that was one of the things that came out of that meeting was, hey, you got to make a trigger safety so this thing can be law enforcement compliant.
Okay, and Mike is the inventor.
Correct.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's see. I mean, we can go into some other things here. Let's get to Harry's Holster's question. He said he wants to hear more about employing or deploying these. I'm going to assume he's saying from on-body carry.
Harry can't wait, can he?
Okay, so you're talking about deploying the pistol from a pocket or from a bag? Is that what he's asking?
I'm going to assume. Go ahead.
On body is going to be in a holster on your person, in a pocket on your person.
No,
fanny pack.
Other than a holster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't do it in here, but you can pull the pistol if you stow it in your front pocket on your strong hand side with the slide towards the center line of your body. You reach in, you grab. Hold on. You grab the pistol right there, pull it out, and then grab it with your non-firing hand and employ the pistol like that. Or you can, from your back pocket, pull it out. So in your back pocket, the magazine would be towards the center line of your body or your butt crack. So you'd pull the gun out, and one-handed, you've got the gun like this, and then you catch the heel of the magazine on either your butt cheek or your thigh or a belt and push, and then roll the gun over in your hand like that. So, and with practice, you can do that pretty quickly.
Right. And then the other way, I think, is with the weight.
Does that
Go
make
ahead.
sense?
Yeah, so now you're saying that somebody, and I assume you've got guys within the company that can reliably do that within about, you said right around 2.5 seconds.
Yep, me and another guy.
Okay. And is that about like the skill level limit when it comes to what you guys are seeing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that you could take. I guarantee if you gave this gun to Travis Haley and said, "Hey, train with this and see what you can do," he could beat me all day long.
Yeah, we're talking one-handed deployment, right?
One and two-handed deployment.
One. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Travis is pretty damn fast. No, I mean, so and that's kind of where my question, like it's marketed to the concealed carry market. If it were for preppers or like a bug out bag or whatever, I like it makes a little more sense.
Yep.
The on body thing is kind of where I'm not so sure that it has a place in my world.
And I'm completely comfortable with that. And where I'm saying we can drift into that, but then we can also cover what I call the casual concealed carry crowd. So the guy that's putting it in a bug out bag, the guy that's grabbing it to walk out to go to McDonald's.
Well, to be fair, I mean, and I'm going to be completely honest. I have had a chance to see photos. I've not been able to make it to one of your guys' booths at a show. I don't think. No, I haven't, and I haven't been able to get any range time on one. So I mean, I'm talking entirely out of my rear with
That's
this.
fine.
But just looking at the mechanics of how you employ that gun, like I feel as though there are a lot more opportunities for failure during that action of using a gun in a defensive manner.
And I would say that you're right. I would say get your hands on a gun, one, and two, there's always potential for failure. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the end all be all, but there's potential for failure in every other situation that we had up until this gun came on the market. So if you're going from a holster, you grab the gun wrong, I mean, there's all kinds of that.
Yeah, no, it's entirely possible to foul a draw with any type of holster, be it a pocket carry, a quality Kydex, hybrid, whatever. That's something that can happen. What I'm curious though, why it would be marketed to the casual concealed carrier who isn't somebody who's going to practice that more complex method of getting the gun into a fight.
Okay, and I'll tell you, it's safer to carry, it's more comfortable to carry, it's more concealable because it doesn't print like a gun, and I don't know, I'm having a brain fart, but it's more stowable if that makes sense. We're just giving somebody another option.
Right. You know, I mean, I don't have a problem with there being other options out there.
So who do you guys think is your number? Like, what does your customer look like? I think because Patrick is asking, like, why is it marketed to the casual concealed carry guy? What's your number one potential customer that you guys, you know, see using this?
You know, our targeted audience is a well-informed, prepared citizen that wants a more concealable handgun, period. And because it folds and can be in a smaller, tighter confined place, it's more concealable. Now, is it the best handgun for every scenario? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to piss on your back and tell you it's raining.
Right. I think that's, and we were talking about that earlier. I think that's the guy like Walter, for example, who doesn't want to carry a holster, or just doesn't like.
I mean, a lot of days I go from my car to in my shop and the gun's in my hand.
Yep.
Not in the holster. It's not, and it goes what are you laughing about?
No, I'm just envisioning. Yeah.
I'm not walking in, Patrick. I'm not in a parking lot with a bunch of old ladies going to the grocery store.
No. I've just got this vision of Walter pulling up at the shop, kind of sleepy-eyed in the morning, ready to get to work.
I might have a drink in the other hand, and I might have a cell phone in the other, and it's like that, which actually works pretty well because.
And to Walter's defense, a lot of times I carry my M&P is sitting in my console of my truck. I just take it and tuck it up in my arm.
Yeah. I've had MP5 underneath my arm, by the way, too.
I can get to it.
So it's like,
yeah, I mean, we're assuming. So here's the thing, Patrick. We're assuming that that everyone out there carries the way that we do with
and they don't.
Holster,
and they don't.
And that's not true. Yeah, it's not true.
Don't.
I think we are the minority of actually carrying that way.
No, I'm not assuming that everybody carries the same way. Like, I mean, you know, depending on what I'm wearing and, you know, how, you know, much weight I've gained that particular month, I'll change.
It's like, how bloated I am from eating last night.
Yeah, exactly. If I had too many tacos, then appendix may not work right. But like trying to wrap my head around, you know, the practical use of the full conceal alphabet, whatever, I can't even remember the name is. You know, like trying to figure out how that fits into the average purchaser's world, how it works.
All right, and so my answer to that question is I have a regular 43, a 19, a 17, a Smith & Wesson 2.0, M&P 2.0, and then I have a full conceal M3D, which is the double stack or 19 version, and a 43. On any given day, I may have one or two of those pistols on my person. Most of the time, I carry my full conceal M3, the bigger version, the 19 version, in my computer bag because where I work, I'm not supposed to carry a firearm on our property. Okay, and it's in my computer bag. There are other times where the computer bag stays in my truck, and I have a compact frame pistol like my M&P 2.0 or a 19 in my appendix holster, or I have my 43 appendix. And in the wintertime, when I have a lot more clothes on because I work outside, I'll have a Glock 17 outside the waistband because I'm wearing a jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question? I mean, what I'm saying is that I know very few people that just have one pistol. Most people that have one pistol, that gun stays in their nightstand or in their glove box.
Right. Yeah. No. And I would just about agree with that.
So, we're filling a gap somewhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No. I mean, and I'm sure that there, like, I think, you know, Jody brought something up in the chat, said, you know, storing one in the glove box for camping trips, backyard shed, or stuffing a gun in places that generally wouldn't accept a gun. Like, I get that, you know.
Yeah. That's by the way, that's Razor JB's comment. I would never carry it, but I'd store one in my glove box, camping trips, backyard shed. I can see a few uses, but not necessarily why or who it was designed for. That's Razor JB. He's come a little way.
One of our customers was a private airline pilot company. So it's a group of, I think, 100 private jet pilots that fly different people's planes. They bought guns for their pilots to put in the cockpit of these business jets, or a Learjet pilot, for lack of better words. So that's a confined space. I mean, another application is you got people that sail all over the world. They want to have a gun in a confined space. Again, going back to the military pilot scenario where you have it part of a pilot's survival kit when he injects in the aircraft. So, could you hide another pistol like that? Yeah, you could. We're just giving another option.
Absolutely. There's a question I want to get to before we close. I think we got about 4 or 5 minutes. Is this Cali compliant? There's lots of people asking that.
If you own a Gen 3 or Gen 4 Glock 19 from California, you can send us your pistol for conversion, and we will send it back to you, and it's California compliant. But we can't sell directly into California because we've not paid the California research tax or whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to go through the drop safe and all that stuff. But when you guys do the conversion, aren't you essentially manufacturing a firearm at that point? Correct?
No, we're gunsmithing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So that's good. And you checked that with the ATF?
Yes, we got our license.
Okay. Razor JB says, "Screw it, I'm buying 3." I'm pretty sure he's being facetious.
No, it does raise an interesting question. So you said that you guys have your license. I assume you got an 07 FFL is what you mean.
Yep.
But have you guys specifically asked them if you convert a customer's pistol, are you then manufacturing a new firearm? Because I know with like bolt guns, if somebody rebarrels, my local gun builder is then manufacturing a new firearm. It's logged out of their books as a, whatever the company is manufacturer instead of what it was.
We can sell it. We can convert guns in California with no problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Without me getting way off into the details and being hauled in front of a jury, we can legally convert firearms from California and send them back there.
Okay. No, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah.
Screaming Skull Saloon says he would have a Keltec Sub 2000 Gen 2 and one of these in a bug out bag for sure.
Does a Keltec look like a stapler when it's folded up?
No, not necessarily, but it's yeah.
Tell Razor that if he buys 5, he gets the 6th one free.
Okay.
So he can double his order.
Yeah, make sure you get the Hank Strange discount on that. And James Lawson wants to know why Patrick is so worried about who it's for.
I'll be glad to answer that. I really don't like seeing people spend money on something that's not going to fit a need they have. Too many people sit on their couch, think about what gun might fit a particular role in their world, and come up with the wrong answer. And they'll go out and they'll buy something at whatever the store charges them, get home, own it for a few months, and then sell it at a loss. Because it doesn't fit their needs.
And in that case, I think I agree. Look, I asked the question too, who's it for? And I think lots of people buy things they don't need, me included. Then someone else benefits from it. Especially if you sell it, you take a loss on it. It's someone else's gain. But I mean, none of us want to see people go out there and just waste their money and get something that they won't use. Obviously, that's why I wanted to spend a whole bunch of time talking about this so that people have an opportunity to think, okay, is this for me or not for me? I'm just trying to get people to at least think about it. Right. And I think that we're talking about something that people are going to think. I don't think you just casually go out there and drop $1,000.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
look.
wait a minute. Who are you talking about?
I'm with Patrick on his premise. I totally agree with what he's saying. I would much rather somebody go into a gun store, or not. Let me back up from that. I hate gun counter salesmen. Weird me out. Like I know what I want to buy when I go in there and why I want to buy it. But I would much rather somebody be an informed customer and buy our pistol for their right reason than somebody not buy it or buy it and not use it. Make sense? So, and Patrick's detailed questions, like deep questions, like that's the kind of stuff that we need to be asked, and we as a company should be held accountable to. And those kinds of questions make us think and continue to be innovators, committed to providing the American shooting public with a better option. So the criticism, like a legit criticism, like your gun sucks because I did this to it and it didn't do it, that's the stuff that makes us make a better pistol. But for somebody that just says, hey, I hate your shit because it sucks, well, I can't. What do I do with that? Like, so
I would
much rather have somebody like Patrick on here saying, "Hey, why does this do this? Why does it not do it?" Because that's the kind of stuff that makes us better. So, you can hate me all day long, but if you hate me for a reason and give me the real reason you hate it, then I'm going to go back and figure out how to solve that hate.
Absolutely. We always need to ask tough questions of ourselves and even other people. So, that's just, as long as it's done respectfully, there's nothing wrong with it. Patrick does it respectfully, I think.
I mean,
I try. Some people don't feel that I do.
And look, I don't deserve more respect than any other man on this planet. And like I said earlier, the funny thing, like the funniest freaking, I'm going to get a t-shirt, put a cape on it. It'll be super gay. Like whoever freaking posted that, like I love that guy.
Yeah. But embrace the hate.
Exactly. But I can't fix something based off of that comment. It's funny, but somebody like Patrick that's asking detailed questions, like that's good stuff. I mean, that's why I wanted to do this.
Right. Remote Desktop says Babyface looks different tonight. That's not Babyface. This is Patrick from the firearm rack.
Firearm rack. Yeah, there's
there's no the in it, just firearm rack. Greg,
kind of.
Go ahead.
And I agree with you. Like, I want to see more innovation in the gun industry. I think that we overuse the word. I think there's a lot of it out there right now. You guys, obviously, whether or not it may be something optimal for somebody, it is innovative, and I don't want to discount that at all. Yeah. There are a lot of products out there that really check that innovative box. And I want to see more of it, man. I want to see more good stuff out there.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, absolutely. We all do. We all do. So one last question, because we're past 9 o'clock. Greg 98K wants to know: do these transfer as Glocks with the FFL or the M3D on the forums?
It transfers as an M3D.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And that's kind of why I was asking about the conversion. Yeah. So if it's transferring as an M3D, then at that point it's a full conceal M3D, no longer a Glock Inc. whatever the shit it started out as.
But for the conversion, there's no transfer.
Right. No, I think are you talking about like who do you go to if you have warranty issues? You go obviously full conceal, right? Not Glock.
Okay, if you take your Model 70 or 700 to a gunsmith and get another barrel put on it, they consider that manufacturing. Short and sweet. They must not consider the frame changing, hinging thing as manufacturing, unless they do. We don't know. But
they don't.
Okay, well then it's just a simple in and out. It goes into books. It comes out of the books back to the. like warranty work, for example. Like somebody's got something broken in mine, they send it to me, I fix it, I send it back.
Right, and that's just what I was trying to wrap my head around is like if that person has got a permit in California for a Glock 19 Gen 3 in OD green because they even get stupid about color, whenever it comes back with a full conceal roll mark on the trigger, like at that point when a cop looks at it and says, "Hey man, like this is not registered." I mean, do you guys serialize the conversion guns, or are they already serialized? Or
no, it's their serial number. They ship it to us, serial number 123456. It goes back to them as serial number 123456.
Gotcha.
So the state of California allows you
transfer of ownership, and we specifically did the gunsmithing the conversion service for California.
Gotcha.
So,
okay.
And at some point, does that mean it's not going to change? It could change tomorrow.
California,
yeah. So the state of California, you have communicated with them about this, about doing changes. You've looked through the channels, because I think what Patrick's concerned about, and people rightfully are, that they don't send this out for conversion thinking it's Cali legal, then they get it back and it's not Cali legal, and they have some kind of because and a lot of times police officers aren't even going to know what the laws are, etc. They're just going to arrest you.
Right. You're not going to beat the rap. You're taking the ride.
Yeah. So if that happens, you guys have done some stuff to ensure the people in California that they are going to be covered, right?
Yes. Meaning we have applied for the license. We got the license, and we are doing now. Does that mean that Officer Smith in San Bernardino County arrest you and he doesn't know what he's looking at? I can't answer that question, but I can tell you that we've gone through the licensing application process. We were granted the license, and we did this specifically for California, and we opened it up to the nation.
Yeah. So you get arrested in California for doing this. Shut up, get a lawyer, and let it get sorted that way. If these guys did the right thing, as they said, in terms of registering and everything with California, you should be fine.
Yep, we have.
Now, Hank, I know we're a little bit over time, but I did have one question about the RMR mount that I wanted to kind of take a closer look at that. From the glance that I got when I was on my phone driving home, it looked like it was a little on the shallow side, and all I saw were screw holes.
The RMR mount on which gun?
He had one with a comp on it that had an RMR pocket milled into it.
Yep, that's this one right here. That's a friend of mine's sliding barrel, and I'm not sure what optic he had on there, but he did the cut. That's an agency slide and an agency comp.
It's an agency cut. Okay. All right. I didn't know if that
you're saying that's a little shallow.
It looked a little bit shallow on my phone. Can you lock it on him? Well,
yeah, I've got it locked on. Can you just hold it still for a second, Trey, so we can?
And I'm saying an RMR cut. I don't know what optic he had on there.
It looks a little on the shallow side.
But I mean, I'm not measuring it with a micrometer or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if that was something you guys were offering from the factory.
This is, all right. So the story behind this slide and barrel and comp, a friend of mine named Hunter Freeland gave me this to put on our Polymer 80 frame to show the different, just to do a custom thing.
Okay. So, yeah, but you guys wouldn't touch the slide anyway, right? There's no part of what you're doing there.
Our point is that you can put any slide and barrel combination you want on your gun.
Okay.
We just wanted to show people to get people's minds working. Make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so listen, let me wrap this up because I know that we need to exchange some info here in the background. I'm sure people still have a ton of questions. Walter probably needs to go. You know what? If you have further questions, if you're looking at this video later, put your questions in the video. I'll ask Trey. I'll ask the technical guys over at Full Conceal to look at this video going forward in the future, maybe try to answer some questions and stuff like that. And we could always have Trey come back on so we can beat him up one more again.
No.
Yeah, I'll come out anytime.
Yeah.
No, and,
Yeah.
and before we jump off air, I didn't intend on being, super hard on you. I just want to understand how this thing works. Like,
Patrick, I'm glad you were on here, dude.
I really want to get my hands on one of these things and, run it really hard, see if I can find a weak point. And if we do find one, then I want to work with you guys to make the pistol better. Maybe there's an application that it can be designed to, like, I don't know, improved to fit a role. I don't know. But if, me breaking stuff helps, then why not?
Absolutely.
I got a nice old school ammo pouch waiting to drop it into.
There you go. Nice.
Right there, baby.
Because that doesn't look tactical at all.
Well,
I was issued those.
That's totally gray man right there.
Right there.
That shit worked.
Dude, everybody that knows what that is when it was issued is like, they need glasses now.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was issued one of those.
I was issued that shit. That's good stuff. It works.
Yeah, I was too. I was issued that in what was it? 02?
Yep. Anyways, I'll wait to drop it in. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's wrap this up. Patrick, do you want to say something before we wrap here?
Yeah, I was waiting for the wrap up. I was going to tell people what to look forward to on the channel.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and do that.
No, I'm gonna let everyone else kind of wrap up.
Walter,
first.
all right, Walter.
Facebook, Instagram, keep an eye on things. We're still working on the other issue, so be patient. And MP5 stocks, new stuff coming along.
Yes, very nice.
So so we're in the shop working. So
yeah,
stay tuned.
Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, Patrick, I'm gonna let you go before Trey goes since he's the guest.
Yeah, absolutely. So stuff that is going to be happening on the Firearm Rec channel. We're going to be doing the Hudson H9. I've got a whole bunch of mags for it and a bunch of ammo. The SIG 320X5, Arms Core double stack 1911 and 9. I'm going to actually shoot this thing at some point. The RMR is not on it right now.
Trey just like backed up from his.
Hey, that's a pretty paint job you got on that. There.
Yeah, no, it's.
We should have asked that question, Trey. Are you going to convert the high point? Because I call dibs right now. Before
and there you go.
Oh, you bastard!
I had to do it.
Yeah, no. So we're gonna finally shoot that gun, and I'm going to revisit the 509 Tactical, compare it to a stock Glock 19X really soon. I know a lot of people have had questions on that. And Brian, quick, yes, I'm going to be addressing Tim's video on the 509 Tactical. There are some things that he got wrong in that video.
Okay, very cool. Lots of spicy stuff in there. All right, Trey, everyone wants to thank you. I see for myself, I want to thank you. I'm sure that Patrick and Walter would echo that, but so do the folks in the chat, by the way. They thought this was very interesting. They'd like us to invite you to come back on. Hopefully
awesome.
you do that. Yeah. Do you have anything in closing that you want to say before we go here?
Just get me in touch with Patrick, and then tell me when I'm coming down to hang out with you and Lola, shoot guns, and talk gun shit.
Well,
awesome.
Just don't X out of the window yet. Like,
So we're gonna wrap. When I wrap right now, just stay right there, Trey. Don't leave. All right. I want to thank everyone for watching. I think it's been a great show. I really enjoy when companies have the heart and believe in what they manufacture to come on here and talk about it. Patrick, what's up?
Yeah, do check out Harry's Holsters comparison of the 19X and the 509 TAC. I did see that. Forgot about it. Sorry, Harry.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to Harry's Holsters. Yeah. So, I always appreciate companies coming on here. If you're a company and you're looking at this, hopefully this will show you that, we'll give you a fair shake to come on, talk to the people, answer questions and all that kind of stuff. I want to thank everyone for supporting us. We've been gone for like 3 weeks and all that. This is one of the things that I was able to get done. I literally bumped into Trey in the hotel. Yeah. I was having breakfast, right?
Yeah, and I was totally out of it because we ran into each other the night before, and that morning, like, I hadn't had coffee yet, so you were just this guy in the breakfast bar, and then when you spoke, I was like, damn, that's Hank. and
Yeah.
it woke me
Well,
up.
it's kind of like Superman. If I don't have, if I take if the hat is on, people don't know it's me. It's kind of like a trick.
Well, I was like, you were just a guy. Like I was totally out of it, and I was like, holy shit, that's Hank.
Yeah. So you guys should go. You guys should go. Razor JB is like, fuck it, just go do another hour of this.
Oh no.
We can't. But you guys should go look at the video that we did. We'll do some more stuff with Trey. We'll do some follow-ups. Thanks for watching, everyone. Trey, stay right there. Everyone else, stay right there. We are out of here. Peace, guys. See you tomorrow.
Later,
everybody.